Exam tips and tricks. So in this lesson, I'm going to teach you some tips and tricks you want to keep in mind when it comes to test day. Now I know this is a little early. We haven't even talked anything about ITIL yet, but I want you to start learning some of these tips and tricks really up front, so as we go through you can really understand what you should be paying attention to. The first thing I want to tell you is there are no trick questions, but questions are precisely worded on the exam. So certain keywords are very important. Things like service, process, function, and as we go through those definitions, you want to pay close attention to those. You want to read the questions multiple times to ensure that you understand exactly what you're being asked. If you're being asked a service question, don't answer with a function. If you're being asked a function question, don't answer with a service. Pretty simple, right? Now, you want to be cautious of the words always and never whenever you see them in an answer, because in IT service management, there is almost never going to be a time where never or always happens, right? There's always exceptions, there's always differences. So if you ever see always or never, be very careful before selecting that as your answer. Now, we're going to look for distractors or red herrings when we start looking at these answers, because there's usually at least one in the answers that they give you. So out of those 4 multiple choice questions, if I can eliminate one of those answers as being wrong, I only have 3 left, which means that I have a 75% chance, I have a 1 in 3 chance or a 33% chance of getting the question right. Whereas if I just guessed from A, B, C, and D, I only have a 25% chance. So I'm already increasing your odds of getting the right answer. If you could throw out 2, you've got a 50% chance, right? This is the way we want to take our exam. We want to think smarter and not work harder. Now, if you see a question that has bold, italics, or underlined, or uppercase, pay very close attention to those words. The exam writers did it for a reason. So if they bolded the word service, you better watch out and know that it's something to do with service in this question. Now, if a question is going to ask you about a process, make sure you don't answer with a function or a service. We talked about this before, right? And same thing, if it asks about a function, don't answer a process. If it answers a service, don't answer a function. And I know that doesn't make much sense yet, but give me 1 or 2 more lectures. I'll make sure it makes sense to you, because I'm going to talk about every process, every function, and every service inside ITIL. Now, when we talk about other tips and tricks, we have things like answering the questions based on your ITIL knowledge and studies. Do not answer these questions based off your personal work experience. Now, I know that may seem weird, but this is the answer you're looking for. It's the book answer. All the answers I give you in this class are the book answer. You want to use the answers I gave you. The reason why is because your workplace may be implementing some of ITIL, but not all of ITIL. And so the way they do IT service management operations may be right, may be wrong according to the test. Do it based on the book answer, or in our case, the video answer. Now, I want you to choose the best answer on test day, because some questions will have several right answers. So you'll read it and you'll go, A seems right, B is not right, I'm going to throw that away. C may be right, and D, that's not it, we'll throw that away. So now I'm going between A and C, and as you read them, they both seem kind of right. Well, I'll tell you on the exam, there's always one that is more right than the other. Okay? It's not always that the other 3 are wrong, it's just that one is more right. So you want to look for the question or the answer that is correct in the most situations. So going more towards the always than the never, right? Now, you don't need to memorize definitions word for word, because on this exam, all you have to do is recognize the right one. It's going to be on the paper as A, B, C, or D. You just have to select it. There's no essay, there's no short answer, there's no fill in the blank. Remember, recognition in test taking is a lot easier than having to pull it out of your mind and write it down yourself. You also are going to want to make sure that you understand the generic process model and the process characteristics. Now, the reason I'm telling you that is because we're going to cover those in this class, and I want you to pay special attention to those. You also need to be able to differentiate between a service, a process, and a function. I've talked about those 3 a lot in this lecture already, so guess what? We're going to talk about it a lot more as we go through this course. Now, if you get asked about a service owner or a process owner, verify your answer matches the question asked. So if we ask about a process, think twice before you take an answer with service. You see a theme here? These are things that I've seen students make mistakes on time and time again. If you avoid these, you're already increasing your odds of passing on your first attempt. So remember, this is a course that we're just going to teach you the basics of what you need to know. We're going to get you through this exam, and we're going to get you to pass the first time. So stick with us. Here we go.